What's up, everybody? Hey, listen, on this video we replaced the TFI module. I show you how to time the engine to the base timing. We replace the coil and we go for a test drive and we fix the high RPM stumble that I've been dealing with. Finally. Hey, what's happening, YouTube? Hey, listen, I'm just going to make a really quick video here. I want to get you guys up to date on what I discovered over the weekend. After I put in the air-fuel ratio gauge, I realized the car was running lean. I've since pumped up fuel pressure to about 50 psi to compensate for the tune. So really the tune is the problem or the master signal is the problem. Nonetheless, the tune is the problem or the mass air sensor is the problem. Nonetheless, I know that I'm running lean. And I can, fix it in many other ways. But since I know I'm going to be putting a new mass air sensor in, and I know I'm going to be putting new injectors in, and a completely new tune, I really want to just get the car safe and make sure I wasn't going to blow it up, so I could drive it and not overheat the heads, crack the heads, warp any valves from the ignition being too lean, which is what happens. It creates a lot of internal heat, which is not good. So I did crank up the fuel pressure to 50 psi, and that has got my wide open throttle air-fuel ratio down to low 13s, upper 12s, which in my opinion is good. However, the stumble is still there, was still there. It stumbled exactly the same as it did before, and that led me to believe that it was not a air-fuel ratio issue, was not a lean or rich issue. So a lot of people were telling me that it's probably running, rich or lean. Guys, listen, you know your motor, you know your car, especially if you had your hands in it and you drive it all the time, you know what's going on. My first thought was this is probably ignition. However, I did discover a lean condition, which I'm glad I fixed it because the engine seems to be running cooler now. But what I have discovered is this. So go ahead, I know there's going to be some told you so's, but this was my initial thought to begin with. Excuse me. So I actually have a original motocraft TFI module that was out of the 86. It's the same exact TFI module that the car came with. How am I sure of that? I'm not, but it's got the motocraft on it. It's got a lot of wear and tear on it. It's scuffed. It looks like it fits the age of the motor that I pulled out of this thing. And as far as I can tell, most of the parts on that 86 motor, the original motor, had not been replaced. And that TFI module was put onto this distributor, and lo and behold, the stumble is almost 100% completely gone. This thing now spins past 6,500 RPMs if you let it, so be careful, and it revs to the moon and it runs freaking awesome. Seems running better, but that's not why we're here. We're actually here to replace it. So not only did I put the old one in to troubleshoot, I'm glad I've got some spares laying around. I've also went out and bought myself a motocraft. Okay, so I've gone out and bought myself a new coil and a new ignition module. Going ahead and replace both of them because I think possibly the ignition issues I'm having is with the Excel coil that's in it as well. So yeah, motocraft's the way to go, guys. Put MSD in it if you want, put Excel in it if you want. I'm not here to tell you otherwise. I'm here to tell you that everyone I have talked to has recommended me not to do it because they've had so many of them fail and go bad on them, have stomach, just issues. Don't run into issues. Really, the only best parts nowadays you can get, not that you can't get a bad one, but in motocraft is the way to go here. These TFI modules are notorious for failing, especially the cheap ones. Why did they fail? Because they are susceptible to major heat damage because these things are bolted directly to your distributor, which is aluminum, which is bolted to your engine block, so it is basically a big heat sink. As the heat rises in your engine, it dissipates throughout the engine. Aluminum is a good conductor, so it's going to dissipate heat directly into this module. On top of that, with big lumpy cams and lots of high RPM, these poor things get beat up with high revs, lots of revs. In fact, these things fail so much Ford actually designed a model of this to run on the outside onto the fender, outside away from the engine. This is an externally mounted module that mounts outside of your distributor. There are aftermarket kits out there that can actually move this to the outside of the fender, and especially running wires that go from your distributor, these 3 pins here, and run it onto a large heat sink. And relocate your TFI module somewhere where it runs cooler and gets less vibration. That could also help save these from stranding you on the road later down the road. Later on. Stranding you down the road later on. I am no electrical or mechanical engineer by any means, and I'm by all means not even a certified automotive mechanic, so take this for what it is. But let's talk about a little bit how this does work and what this is responsible for controlling. It is an important piece of your engine. Without it, as you guys know, if you pull this out, the engine will not start. If this module fails, it won't start. If you have stumbling, if you got issues with it advancing, it is likely this guy right here. Old distributors have points. If you guys know anything about old distributors, they have points, and they have a cam on the base of your distributor rotor. When it turns, it opens the points, which charges the coil, and as it closes, it makes contact, sending current from your coil to the top of your plug and to where the pointer of your rotor is pointing to, down to the wire, and sparking the engine. The TFI module does the same thing, except with the DuraSpark type distributors. They use a Hall effect rotor on it with a magnetic pickup. So same deal. As it spins and rotates, it controls a digital, this is a solid state sensor, so it controls a digital signal to your ECM and also to your ignition coil, telling it when to fire and send current to your plugs. It's also responsible for your dwell, which is how long between opening and closing it gives the coil time to charge and discharge. So this guy is actually responsible for advancing and retarding the timing of your engine, and the computer is what controls it and tells it how far to advance and whatnot. So yes, it's important, and yes, these do go out all the time. Okay, listen, I know if you guys are Fox Body guys, or a Ford guy for that matter, I'm preaching to the choir here, you guys know this, but keep a spare one in your glove box, along with the tool to remove it, and I'll go over this tool in a second, and along with a maybe a 1/2 inch or 7/16 socket, whatever, basically your distributor tie down, your lockdown nut size is to hold down your distributor so you can rotate it to get this thing off. But keep a spare. This might save you, or even some of your Fox Body buddies that you're cruising with one day, and save them from being stranded on the road. So anyways, always keep a spare along with some tools in the glove box or the back. Okay, if you're familiar with your timing, just simply mark it. Go ahead and mark the pointer. Mine's got a pointer right there on the front to the engine block. And make sure you mark it right there, and everything should be set. Good to go. Since I have a timing light, I'm just going to retime it. Just going to take your hold down here with a swivel. Okay. You don't have to take it out, just loosen it up so you can spin the TFI module around like so. And to get to it, so now you're going to take your tool and there's just 2 bolts holding it down. Okay, careful not to drop it. You've got one here. Okay, once the second bolt's removed, you guys push down on it, and there will be some dielectric grease, or should be dielectric grease behind it. Okay, like so, and it'll come out. Okay, make sure that you put a thermal compound or dielectric grease on the back of this. They say use a dielectric grease, but dielectric grease will heat up and melt and gets thin and kind of runs off. It doesn't stick. I personally have always used this, and I've used this before in the past. This is a heat sink thermal compound for CPUs, and I'm an IT guy, so I have some of this laying around. This is Arctic Silver 5, so it's a really good heat transfer type compound. But you want to put this on the back side here. That will help transfer the heat that's generated from this into the distributor and not overheat this. I think that's why a lot of these fail, is because a lot of people are not putting on the correct compound onto this stuff. So we're going to use this stuff before we install it back on the motor. Okay, and this stuff pretty much installs the same way it came off. Not pretty much. It does! Installs the same way it came off. Kind of line up the holes. Push it back. To spin the distributor back to close to where it was. In my case, it was right here. I know it was. Go ahead and plug this back in. Okay, now we're going to set the base timing. Guys, this is really simple. I know a lot of you, if not everyone out there has done this before, knows what they're doing, but there's a chance that somebody's never done this before. You need a cheapo timing line, just like this one. No fancy displays, just an on-off button. Okay? You're going to take the black part, ground it. Take the red part, and get the June bug out of it. Put it on a positive terminal. Your battery's in here, hook up to your battery. And this inductor thing goes over your number 1 spark plug wire like that. Make sure the wires are out of the way of the fan. Okay. Now we're going to pull the spout wire off. This is how you set your base timing on these engines. I know this is going to be really close because this is where it was before. It'll definitely start up. The computer controls your ignition advance. This disables the computer control. This sets the base timing, completely disables the computer's function to advance or retard the timing of the distributor. So you simply pull this out. It's right here on your distributor harness. Pull it out, set it aside. We'll fire it up. So it fired up. Take this, point it down to your harmonic balancer. This is where your timing marker is. Normal Mustang, that's fine. I've got mine pretty much on 12. So I'm just gonna turn the distributor. So right there, now we've got the marker right on 12 degrees. After that, put your spout wire back on. That's it. Let's go for a ride. Okay, that's it. So now we just gotta go for a ride and see if it fixed our high RPM stumble. This thing should run butter smooth if the ignition has actually been fixed.
Awesome. Okay, it's not good. Oh, come on, girl, seriously. Well, damn good thing I wasn't out on the road. That is not good. So, man, ignore everything I just said. This is the life, right? Who was it that said motocraft made the best parts? Huh. Yeah, all you listeners, all you viewers out there. Okay, we got a problem. It's dying. I'm gonna check that TFI module. Maybe we'll check the coil. I don't think it's the coil because it's getting sparked. That looks like the TFI module that I just bought. The brand new one is not good. So, I brought this with me, and good thing I did because I was going to die, likely, on the road. So, that's not cool. We're going to put this back on, the original back on. Then we're going to go for a test drive again, see if the coil made a difference. But, we got to put Old Faithful back on, man. Old Faithful. Something else.
Out with a new one, back with the old one. Whoa! God damn! Okay, so second gear, doing about 25, 3,000 RPMs, and I'd say it's fixed. Yeah, it's not stumbling at all. It's just going. In fact, the tires are just kind of spinning. Dang, that's a different car. It's animal to drive. I also bumped the timing up the last time to about 13 degrees base. That may have been what gave me the power, but the stumble seems to be completely gone, so I'm contributing that to the coil, I guess. It's a shame we got a bad brand new TFI module right out of the box, but it happens. So if you watch this whole video, you made it all the way to the end, God bless you, but you've seen now that as much as I praise Motocraft and how good the parts are, even these aren't perfect. So I'm willing to bet even these are made in China. There's no stampings on it made in USA, so it's a bummer. I'm glad it didn't stream me on the road. We got lucky that we found out that it wasn't working out here. I got a receipt. I'm going to take that bad boy back, get another one, have it as a spare, or trade it in for maybe a Dyna Pro and check out the Dyna Pro. So, man, that's awesome. Hope those videos turned out on the GoPro. It's pretty dark outside. Hope you can see the tachometer. It was just jumping around. This thing spins up to 65, almost 7, really fast. I need to get an RPM limiter on it because I really don't want to spin it that fast. That's what breaks things. So it's an absolute blast to drive. I highly recommend everybody out there buying yourself a Fox body and making it fast because it's fun. Dang. So anyways, hey, this car's running better than it's ever ran. We fixed the stumble problem, and yeah, that's it. I want you guys to follow me on Instagram because I will post things before I put them online. A video here before you even see it. Just little hints about what's coming up next in the videos, mostly pictures and stuff. So follow me on Instagram. If not, subscribe if you like the channel because we got lots more coming. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.